In this tutorial, we'll learn how to create and utilize text library resource sets. This resource type allows you to predefine text string options. These could be used for example, to allow the selection of specific addresses or telephone numbers, rather than just having a free entry field. So the first thing we actually need to do is to generate a resource set. So if we're in InDesign, within our Invent plugin and the Resources tab, and then click Add Resource Set. We get a few options. In this case, we're going to click the Text Library option. And then we'll put in a name for that particular resource set. So for example, I might name mine addresses, because in this particular example, we're going to create a few different address options that the user will be able to select between. From here, there's a couple of different options. You have the ability to manually enter data into this text library if you need to do so. It's simply a case of entering a key, which is what will be displayed in the form within MegaEdit over on the right-hand side. And then the text field, which is actually what that entry contains. So when you select the key in the form, what's in the text field is what will display on your actual template itself. So for example, if I say my key is add1, and then the actual text might be the full version of that address. Then you can click on Add New Text, and it will add that to the text library. Second option we have here is to actually import text from a CSV document. Now, there's two ways to start off this process. You can either manually create the template that you need, which is nice and easy, or if you want to make sure that you get the correct template information, you can first click Download. So that will save the existing library as a CSV, and it gives us the correct format in which to start populating additional entries. However, if you were to create this manually, it's very simple. You need one column with the header of key, one column with the header of text. Once you've created that data, you can upload into the editor itself here. So if I go to the Upload button and locate the file of interest, you can see that it's automatically read the data out of that file, and that's now part of our text library. From here, we have the option to automatically create a drop-down variable which is linked to this resource set, or we can create it manually. In this case, I will create it automatically. So I'll check that box and click Save. And what you'll see is that if you scroll over to the Variables tab, a variable of type drop-down has already been made. And if you edit that, you'll find that it's already linked to the resource set that we've just created. Now we actually need to make sure that the text that we've placed within our resource set is being mapped onto our actual template document itself. So this is a similar process that we've seen with other workflows within Invent. If I click on a relevant field within my document, this is a text frame, go to our Properties tab, and then I can make that dynamic and controllable by Invent by clicking the Enable button. We're controlling the text itself, so we'll stay on the Text tab, and then it's simply a case of mapping the text we want to utilize to this box. So there's a text mapping option here. If we hadn't already created a variable, we could automatically create a new one from this box here. In this case, we already have our variable, so I can check variable from the type dropdown and then choose a relevant variable. And that's the setup complete. Now I'm going to export this template as a MEX file and import it into our MegaEdit product. So now we have our document loaded, and we can see that in the form on the right-hand side, we now have our addresses drop down, which is linked to the data that's actually on our business card itself. Now, granted, the sizing of that isn't ideal. We would put some additional formatting on that to make sure that it fit correctly with our design. However, in this case, just as an example of changing the content of that box, we can see that as we scroll through these address options, what's shown in the drop-down list is what was recorded in the key field in our resources. However, when we click on those, it is the text field that was actually populated into our template itself.